How's it going? Everyone got a few things to talk about as far as PlayStation updates go in this video. A long-wanted and long-anticipated PlayStation title that was revealed, let's be honest, a little bit too early, is still reportedly in development. We'll talk about that. And PlayStation has formed a brand new first-party studio. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But PlayStation 5 Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake is still, in fact, in development. Embracer owned studios Aspyr and Saber Interactive were both confirmed to be working on the game in May of 2022, and it was noted that the game is still in development. Saber Interactive is one of the largest independent developers in the world. We are working on numerous games across many different genres. Everything that we have talked about is still in development. We will share information on upcoming games when we have something cool to share. That is in regards to all of their projects, but Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic would be a part of their portfolio of games that they are working on. So it seems like that the game is still in development. It was revealed all the way back in September of 2021, and we had heard that the game had been going through some development turmoil. It's one of those instances of a game being revealed way too early, and Sony was doing a lot of that in 2021, and just gaming in general, especially to push the newer consoles. You were revealing games like Wolverine 5 years before it was going to come out because you wanted people to be excited about the PlayStation 5 and what they were investing into. You revealed something like Star Wars KOTOR, a remake of that, even if it was super early on in development, because you want people to be excited. I remember that PlayStation Showcase of 2021 was received so well by everyone, and when you look at it, yes, it was a cool show, but a lot of those major reveals are still in development, like Wolverine and KOTOR. But it is what it is. I think a lot of people are going to be very excited about the game still being in development, especially in the current case of BioWare at this point is completely washed. Like, I think you could put BioWare in the completely cooked category, even though I do believe that if they revealed a new Mass Effect game, people would still be excited for it, just because Mass Effect is still one of those IPs that it literally dropped quite possibly the greatest gaming trilogy in gaming history. You're gonna have the ability to have a little bit of headroom with that, but in the case of KOTOR, a ground-up remake of that would be so fantastic, because while you can go back and you can play KOTOR on PC, you can play it on Nintendo Switch, the game shows its age for sure, and just a ground-up full-on remake would do so well for a game that's as beloved as Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. But I will still be fairly skeptical about the future of this game and if it'll ever come to fruition. I can easily see come 2026, 2027, just sometime, the game is announced to be canceled and they're moving on from it. They're just not ready to make an announcement like that right now. But really, if this game comes out, you're talking about it at earliest, it would be like a 2027 game, maybe 2026, and you're talking about the game being revealed right after the release of the PlayStation 5, used as a tool to push the PlayStation 5. Remember, Sony signed a deal with it to have it as a timed PS5 exclusive, and you're talking about the game pivoting to damn near a PS6 game at this point. So, a little bit of a bummer when it comes to that, but hopefully, again, it will see the light of day. Speaking of games hopefully seeing the light of day, PlayStation has formed a brand new studio called Dark Outlaw Games, and Call of Duty Zombies lead Jason Blundell is at the head of that studio. In an interview with Jeff Gertzman, Blundell spoke a lot about his new studio. Remember that he was previously working with Deviation Games, and Deviation Games had over 100 developers in 2021 when it signed its deal with Sony. PlayStation did shut down Deviation Games, but now it looks like they're pivoting with Dark Outlaw Games, and Blundell noted, "I've had the amazing opportunity to create a new studio with PlayStation Studios for Sony. The studio is called Dark Outlaw. We've been working away in the shadows for a while. When we've got something to talk about, we'll step out into the light." It's such a privilege to be able to do it with Sony as a new first-party studio. Sony doesn't start up first-party studios all the time, so to have that privilege is humbling. "It's about getting the team to gel. I'm a programmer at heart, so let's get those assumptions. Is it working? You're trying to hit the escape velocity." Deviation was reportedly working on something live studio oriented, and given that Blundell worked on Call of Duty's Zombies modes and he's pivoting towards working with PlayStation, I would imagine this is some sort of live service project, maybe some sort of co-op focused live service project. Guys, PlayStation is still very much in the live service business. Do not think for a second that just because Concord flopped, just because they canceled all of these games, that all of a sudden they are going to step away from the live service model. In fact, if they bring back older IPs like a Killzone or like a Resistance, I fully expect them to have live service elements baked into them. Why is that? Because there's so much more money in a live service game than there is in a multiplayer game in a vacuum, and that's what every publisher is chasing after. And remember why PlayStation, a big part of why they do exclusives, a big part of why they make games in general, is to draw people into the PlayStation ecosystem over other ecosystems. That is where they make their money, in you being in their ecosystem, buying games and everything like that. What does Sony really not have to worry about anymore? Competition from the other ecosystem in Microsoft. Microsoft is bringing the games onto them. Them releasing games like A Last of Us Part 3, like a new Infamous, and all of these games, yes, I personally wanted, but there is that thought process that the pressure isn't there anymore. They don't have to release games at that level as frequently as they did in the past. They can work on these live service games, and if one flops, two flops, yeah, in a vacuum you lose a lot of money, but what if you pop off with one of them? What if you get another Helldivers 2? What if you get whatever Blundell's working on, if it is a live service project, to pop off? All you need is a couple of games to really do well, and then you're cooking, and then you can passively make money. It's another ecosystem within an ecosystem, generating even more revenue. If all that makes sense, I'm trying to come at it from the angle of Sony. Yes, it's not what I want. Do I want a remake of Infamous 1? Yeah. Am I gonna get a remake of Infamous 1? No. They just had Bluepoint, their best remake studio, the best remake studio on God's green earth. They worked on a God of War live service game for 2 to 3 years. Y'all gotta expect the absolute worst case scenario with Sony. If anybody told me like 3 years ago, after Demon's Souls Remake came out, 4 years ago almost, or 5 years ago almost, oh my god, it's been 5 years since Bluepoint put out a game. But Demon's Souls Remake, after that came out, okay, Bluepoint, they put out Demon's Souls Remake, y'all gotta be cooking with a God of War live service game. Think about that for a second. That's where your expectation should be. You should expect something that is so live service oriented, and give credit to Blundell, he worked on Call of Duty Zombies. That's great. Is that what my audience wants? Some co-op live service games? And who knows what Dark Outlaw is working on, but that's what you should have your expectations set to. There's still Fair Game coming out. There's still the Guerrilla Horizon live service project. They're still gonna be going forward with live service games. Do not get it twisted. It is going to be a big aspect of PlayStation going forward, and I don't think we are completely out on the other side yet. In terms of, they gotta take a lot of L's, and I'm talking about a lot of L's before they just completely wipe their hands clean. And even after that, again, the pressure isn't there as much to release big budget first party exclusives anymore, like it was in the PS3 era, where they were desperate in getting out Uncharted, Infamous, Killzone, Resistance, Ratchet. All of these games were coming out. The pressure just doesn't exist anymore. And can that bear consequences in the future? Yeah, absolutely, but I don't think Sony is looking at it from that lens. But that'll do it for me. Again, hopefully KOTOR Remake does come out and it doesn't get canceled. PlayStation had an agreement to get that as a timed exclusive. We'll see if that comes to fruition. And a brand new Sony studio, Dark Outlaw Games. I feel like I was pretty negative on it, but I just have the expectation it's probably a live service project, and we'll see how it turns out. Live service doesn't inherently mean it's bad, but I know that's gonna upset a lot of people right out the gate. But that'll do it for me. All of your thoughts down below in the comment section. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.